Thanks for joining, everyone. We will begin the webinar in just a minute or so. We'll give people a few more minutes to log in. Thank you. Good morning. I am Celeste Powers, President of PIDA. On behalf of PIDA and APPA, the sponsors of Global Pet Expo, welcome to today's webinar, What's Next for Your Business? How to Plan, Prepare, and Forecast for the Balance of 2020. This is the final webinar in a series of 4 to help you navigate in these unprecedented times. We would like to thank Lynn Switanowski for a great partnership and jumping in right out of the gate in this crisis to help you and your pet stores run your businesses in a completely new way. As a reminder, all of our webinars are recorded and archived to re-listen or share with your staff. So if you missed any of the previous part of this series, please go back. Everything's all there, and go to the globalpetexpo.org website, and under the seminars tab is where you can access all of these recordings. PIDA and APPA continue to diligently work on COVID-19 issues on behalf of everyone in the pet industry supply chain. Please visit our websites at pida.org and americanpetproducts.org and view all of the great information and resources under the COVID-19 tabs, including the recording of our very interesting pet industry town hall that we had last week, which included manufacturers, distributors, wholesale pet stores, and a variety of people with a lot of great information. So please take some time to listen to that as well. And lastly, don't forget you can access all of the free training on Pet Store Pro 24/7 at PetStorePro.com. Now to why you're here today. Our presenter, Lynn Switanowski, is a real asset to the pet industry. She has been a featured speaker at Global Pet Expo for over a decade, providing insights on hot topics from customer loyalty to social media marketing. And as I said, she's been a great partner with this webinar series. So without further ado, take it away, Lynn.
Celeste, thank you very much for your kind words. Good morning, everybody. I wanted to say hello in person this morning. I feel like this is going to be part of our new normal, so we may be seeing more webinars. And I was telling the group before we started today, you'll see I have my trade show outfit on. I've got long shirt, long pants, my makeup, of course. The one thing that's different, and those of you on the call can appreciate, my hair might look a little different than it has the last 3 weeks. because I'm a woman and I'm having some trouble with some COVID issues, and the rest of women on the call, you can relate to that. But we're making do, and I'm excited to talk to you today about where we go from here. And let's get right to it. I'm going to leave up my webcam. If it's distracting, I'm sorry, but I'll leave it up for a couple minutes and then I'll take it down. How about that? I just want to make sure that you see me and feel like we're talking, right? I'm very full of expressions. If you've seen me in person before, you know I love to connect with my audience, and this is my way to do that with all of you. Good news is I won't breathe on you at all in this presentation. I will try and make you laugh like I normally do, but no worries about having to answer questions, although I'd love to get to that down the road. Want to make sure you get a copy of this presentation. As Celeste said, there is a robust webinar library, and I'm going to bring it up here and I'm going to bring it up at the end because we are all in this together. You may not think you need certain information now, and down the road you're like, what was she saying? What did I do? Bookmark this website, go to webinar.com, the Global Pet Expo, bookmark globalpetexpo.org, bookmark PETA.org, bookmark those links so that when you need to get access to information, you can do it quickly. If you're still old school, and we're going to try really hard, not that I don't want to hear from you, you can email me at Pet Retail Helper. But all of this information is at your fingertips all the time, 24/7, and it should be remembered that. There's my face, we'll skip that. I think, as Celeste said, what I want to make sure you understand is we've been together. And I don't say I appreciate Celeste, I've been speaking. We've been together. We've been building a relationship. We've been building trust, right? You come to my seminars, you listen to me on a webinar, and I'm credible to you. I understand your pet industry issues, and I understand what you're going through because I'm a retailer, so I put myself in your shoes. I want to talk today exactly that way about your customers, for your business, and how they look at you and what they think about you as their trusted source. So they're feeling pain right now. Obviously, we're trying to be empathetic. We're trying to help out their pets. And then we're going to talk about how we move forward and continuing the trust that we've cemented during this crazy, crazy time. So I'm going to start with a couple of, quotes. Business interrupted. Were you ready for anything like COVID? If I took a poll right now, I'm sure the answer would be 99% of you, maybe some of you were on the cash flow side. That's fantastic. But for a complete disruption in business, it didn't come naturally to anybody. Maybe afterwards, it will. I happen to live in New York on 9/11, and I would tell you, obviously, as traumatic as that was for all of us who were there, for everybody around the world, pretty quickly, we had the same conversations that I'm going to have with you today. Okay, what's next? What's the new normal? How do we need to prepare? Some of you may have heard, besides the stimulus bills that came out, there were, financial institutions move their computer and back offices across the river to New Jersey. I was at an apparel company at the time, and we moved our offices out of Manhattan into New Jersey. So people quickly reacted to say, okay, how do I not let this shut down my total operations again? And I guess what I want to talk to you today about is I want you to get through this, but I want you to come out better. And I want you to really understand what worked and what didn't work and what were the clogs. And that's a key one. And that's a hard message for some of you to hear. What happened? How was your store prepared? Was it chaotic? Was it traumatic? Traumatic, one thing, it was a devastating blow that we never expected. But chaotic, it might not have had to be. So let's frame this conversation of future state. What do I want my business to look like? How do I want to meet my customers? This is not in the handout, but I just got this information this morning, and my job is to share information, and I am looking at it. Overall, the March sales results were down almost 9%. Obviously, we were ticking along, and then it was dramatic, and it was quick. So what I want to ask you is, how did you fare? How did your pet business fare? Within that minus 8.7%, there were huge, huge disparities. Thank goodness I'm talking to a bunch of pet retailers. And if you look at the bottom of the chat, we don't sell clothing and accessories. Yeah, we might sell pet clothing and accessories, but that's not a huge portion of our business. But if you owned a women's apparel store right now, you could have been down 50. On the other hand, right, food and beverage, that whole hoarding thing, that whole buy more, general merchandise, healthcare, personal care, non-store retailers, where did you fare in all of this? So we plan inventory for people. We're looking at your performance versus your industry peers. So how did you fare? Were you better, worse? What happened? Let's resolve that. But at least you have a frame of reference for how your store did versus everybody else. Why I want to set the tone, there was what I would call a door slamming, right? The front door was open one day and all of a sudden you were in a town that, even though you were an essential business, people didn't necessarily want to shop in the same way. I want you to get a sense, this may be our new normal, right? Take a look at, this was done February 28th. And even if you added to it today, how are your personal feelings about going out? Do you go, if you work at the store, do you just go to the store and go home and you keep your sphere of where you're shopping? Is it the grocery store once a week? Do you maybe wear a mask? Do you maybe go to the liquor store? Do you just go to work and go home? Do you limit where your family can go? Maybe you personally are having the same, conversation as a lot of other consumers are. I'm currently avoiding them. And by the way, I will avoid these things in the future. The will avoid is something that you, as a great pet retailer, it's not your fault. It is our new fear, right? After, I can go back to AIDS, I can go to SARS, I can go to Ebola. Until people feel comfortable that they are not going to get coronavirus, they're going to have a sense of fear. Some less than others, yes. But how do you manage through that fear with your pet business? If people are going to avoid, stores and shopping centers and malls, and your business is in a strip center, what are you going to do, right? Shops in general, 50% of people, over 52%, say I'm going to avoid them. Sporting events, entertainment, leisure. My workplace, maybe some of your employees don't want to come to work. So we are going to have to acknowledge that whether it's short term or it's long term, there are ramifications for how consumers may be avoiding shopping as they currently have. And when I say, like, you see how the flow of this presentation, right? We talked about being down, 8% for the month of March. That was the total overall overall retail sector. How did your business fare? Okay, now let's benchmark that. Did I do better or worse than that? Did I do a better job of giving my customers options to shop in a non-public way? Some of you on this, session will say, I hit it right on the head. I had an e-commerce site up and running. I did curbside delivery. I did free delivery. Lynn, I did everything you are, mentioned in your last 3 webinars, and I got to flat. Then there's other people who say I wasn't ready for it. I didn't have the team to do it. I didn't have the pieces in place to do it quickly. And my results were down 20, down 30. Okay. Pause, understand it's a cause and effect, and exactly the title of this session, how do we move forward? What do we do to do business in our new normal? Right? So our new normal is how it's going to affect your business for this coming year, down the future. The first thing, absolutely, and if you were at Global in the end of February, I did a seminar and you absolutely heard me say this: plan for less front door openings. I didn't predict a coronavirus pandemic around the world. I predicted consumer changes and a shift to, I want to shop online, I want to do other resources. A shift in consumer behavior prior to a pandemic now makes you sure realize. I would love you to plan very, very dramatically for 40% less door openings. That door counter that you have, some of you, I see how many customers come in and out every single day. Plan for 40% less people to come in. But that doesn't mean you should plan for less sales. Where do those sales need to occur? If they're not, I call them out the back door. If they're not coming in the front door, how do you do those sales out the back door? But the first thing is plan for less front door openings. for the immediate future. And when I say immediate, certainly through the end of 2020, potentially how this rolls out in the rest of the world, 2021, right? And maybe forever. But if you don't acknowledge that, I'm afraid that you're going to be denying, frankly, the opportunity to do business in your store, because consumers have many options to do less shopping. I think when people go out, right, and you think about yourself. I like to go out to dinner. I'm a social person, right? We've got lots of friends. I'm sure all of you do. So in your free time, do you go out to bars and restaurants and, get together with your friends? The first thing that's going to happen when we're allowed, I think those things are going to happen. The necessity to go to perhaps my pet store, yes, my pet needs food, but the good pet businesses that have been doing an unbelievable job with curbside delivery, with free delivery, with scheduled monthly food programs, with personalized shopping, all these things we'll talk about. I don't actually need to go there. I can serve what I need. I can get my pets fed and get them the treats they need and the medicines they need in other ways. I'd rather spend my time being social. I need you all to hear me say, please, that that's not a bad thing. They love you, they need you, they want you. They just don't need to see your face. And that's got to be okay with you, the attendees of this webinar, because it's certainly okay with them. You got to create a strategy, right? You got to create a strategy to develop plans that you can execute. And there's two things: a strategy, a plan, and then follow-up, implementation, and when I use the word extreme vigilance. This cannot be one of those times when you're like, yep, I got it. I did some things differently during coronavirus. It worked. I got to better than that -8. My customers were happy. And now I can go back to business as normal, because it takes a lot of work to do it this way. That's going to be a potential recipe for disaster on the other side. What does that mean for you? You are the leaders of your ships. You are the captain, if you will, of your ship. Put director of ship here. You're the captain of the ship for your business during good times, the accolades. Your business is great. They love the store you've built. They love the environment that you've built. But also in bad times, source of comfort during pandemics, when their pets die. For you to strategically guide your business forward, you have to have time in that role to do that, which means you have to come up with a plan to implement and give people, allow people, delegate responsibility, create an effort that is store-wide, that gets what you need to get done and allows you to think strategically. And I use the metaphor 30,000 feet, right? That's you looking down on your business. That's not you being in the weeds of your business. So that's what I mean when I say 30,000 feet. And that's not to say you're prima donnas. That's not to say you don't get your hands dirty and unpack boxes because you got a big shipment in. That's not what I'm saying here. But if you, as the owner, as the manager, as the leader of your business, are not thinking strategically, who is? And I'm gonna put my face on the screen so you hear me say that. If you are not thinking strategically, who is? You're the only one that can guide that ship. And maybe you've seeded some of that. Maybe you've just sort of put wheels in motion and you've done the same thing for a long time. That's not going to cut it in our new normal. It's got to be one step ahead. And I know I've thrown you into this. Coronavirus has thrown you into this, maybe kicking and screaming because you didn't want to. But it's our new future. Now that you've seen what you can do, how do you take that and make it happen? So ask yourself, where do I go from here? This to me is the slide of this entire presentation, and I want to spend a little time. Where do we go from here? What's your new normal? Okay, in the month of March, let's walk through what happened, right? Phase 1, oh my, sales are declining. What did you do, right? You started, okay, maybe I need to think about a website. I need to clean more. I need to physical distance. Walk yourself down the curve. Free shipping, right? How am I building customer loyalty? I'm trying to build a platform now that I've sort of been able to do that, whether it's a Facebook shop or an Instagram shop. I've been able to communicate different ways of buying business. But look where the curve is. All of the work that you took to get there sales are still going down. I get it, right? Doors not open in some cases, and yes, maybe your essential businesses, but we're dealing in a new normal. By the way, all at the same time, training staff who honestly may or may not be capable of managing this new world of business. We're going to talk about that. Do you have the right staff for what your business needs going forward? How do we retrain them? What kind of merchandise? Obviously, we plan open to buys for pet businesses. I can tell you right now, we increased our buy on large bags of food because it was 60% of the sales in the month of March. People were, if you want to call it hoarding, people were stocking up, right? I'm not going to go as often, but I need to get what I need to get. Have you looked at the trends of your merchandise differently and said, how long is this going to last? What am I going to do to supply my customers with the products they want? You see, we're still now starting. Once you start to turn the corner and say, hey, I've got a vehicle people can buy in different ways. And that's here, it's listed as e-com. We'll talk about free delivery, obviously, free curbside pickup. Those are other ways that make it easier for your business. Look at the key there on the marketing side, if you will, updating customers. You're doing business every day. How often are you updating customers, keeping them, apprised of the new changes that you've made? It's not just, oh, by the way, we have free curbside pickup. It's got to be, we have free curbside pickup, we have free delivery, we have free, all of the options for your customers twice a week, right? How do you implement tools that can make it easier, not just for your customers externally to connect with you, but what tools do you need internally for your business to be more effective? If you guys haven't guessed, this is what we're going to talk about today. Where are you on this cycle? I think probably some of you, your drop was perhaps less dramatic. Maybe for some of you, you're feeling all of this pain still. So I think you need to ask yourself, what's your new normal? And be honest with yourself and say, where am I on the curve? How have I use the word modernized, but another word might be, how have I engaged my customers and communicated with my customers through this phase? And if you see the bottom right corner here, that's the pesky consultant in me, that's saying, keep up the new habits. That's where we are. We're going to spend the rest of the time talking about what you've built, what you haven't built, what you need to add, and frankly, to keep going. There's a reason. Let me repeat. I don't do this, and I'm going to actually show you my face here. I don't ever do this in terms of, showing myself or showing the same slide twice, but it bears repeating. It is critically important that you understand where your business is in the phase of this and be honest with yourself and say, what have you implemented? Maybe you've taken some of these efforts, maybe you've taken them all and you're seeing better results than others. I salute you. I'm not trying to be a fatalist here. I'm actually trying to encourage you, and I will, if it's support you or if it's pull you along, I will do whatever I need to do because I get your pet businesses. I know how passionate you are about the community that you serve. The key right now is, how do you communicate to that same community? How do you continue to be relevant and more important to them as we move forward in this new normal? So let's talk about, how do you maximize what you've started, continue what you've started, modernize marketing connections. And I want to make sure that you all see you're all in different phases. So let's walk around the horn here. Have you started? Some of you, have you gone live more with your customers? Are you communicating with them via video more often? If not, you need to start that. We're going to be there on a regular basis, showing our customers, leading the way. Video is the #1 tool in terms of marketing right now. If you're not on video, I said this before, in a seminar that I would have given, actually at Global, we were talking about Instagram and video, and I begged some of you who are at 0 to get to 50. Some of you, 50% video in your posts. It is more critical than ever. If you are at 0, you have to get to 70. Video is the tool. So we need to figure out a way to help you incorporate more video into your social media posts, even into your emails. Set up a hotline. Have you done that? Communicate. What do you need? How can we answer you? A hotline is a phone. A hotline is an auto reply on your Facebook Messenger. You know, a hotline is giving a stored text or cell phone number so people can text you at any time, right? We talked about adding and keeping your community engaged with enhanced loyalty programs during this time, not just now, but down the road. That's a nice surprise and delight for your customers. Make sure that you market your loyalty program and show loyalty. Thank you for sticking, you know, the next month of April and May, thanks for continuing to be here. We see you shopped every month. We've added points to your account. Here is a free $5 additional coupon for being a member of our club, right? Thank you for being supportive of our small business. We appreciate you, and we want you to know we appreciate you and your pets. Here's what we're doing. You're all, excuse me, you're all, I don't have COVID. I'm just talking a lot, promise. I know that's going to be our new normal, right? Maybe you've made donations to charities. Keep doing that. The image on the left. Have you done any community, what I call Zoom rooms? Have a breed meeting, you know, have a breed get together instead of in person, doing it, you know, remotely with Zoom. Like, you know, there people have their pets in the rooms and we're just talking and being connected together like we normally would on our walk, in a group, in the store, right? Modern marketing connections need to continue through the next phase. And frankly, it's not a phase, it's a new way of marketing. And it has to be something that you just adopt into your regular marketing program, right? We talked about, as well as, you know, other ways of growing sales. You have to market that you have other ways of doing business to your customers. So if you think about the sales and marketing phase of your business, you see, okay, how many different ways can I communicate with my customers? I would talk about all those other ways, but yeah, what about e-commerce? And I don't mean you have to have a Shopify website up and running with 1,000 items tomorrow. But if there are just distributors that you have that you can partner and face, you know, a website that serves and sells a lot of their products. If you build a Facebook shop, we'll talk about Instagram in a second. What are your most needed now items? And how can you make sure that not only your current customers, but potentially new customers for your business know it is just as easy to shop with your business online as it is to go to that not to be mentioned named, you know, pet online retailer. So communicate that your customers can have a modern approach to shopping with your business, right? What do your customers need now, whether that's food, whether that's supplements, whether that's treats? If you continue to showcase that you have these things available and that it is easy to purchase. And by the way, here is a link from this Facebook post to our Facebook shop to buy this, and we will get it to you in our delivery route tomorrow in this area, these zip codes. And it's free, right? If you get me your order by 12, I'm making deliveries this afternoon, right? There is a way that you can be current and relevant and what I'm going to call air quotes online by being modern with your marketing on social media. And through that, you become the valued pet store in the neighborhood. You know, we'll also talk about, you've got, you know, distributors on the call, you've got manufacturers, we probably have groomers on the call. You know, what are your services? What could you do? And maybe it's harder for you to translate your service into a sale. But you know what I would be? If I was a groomer right now in this, I would be adding a Facebook shop that had gift cards and booking appointments. You know, that's it. And maybe it is $10 off your grooming. And you have to, you know, a gift card that sells $5, a free additional treatment on your next grooming, and sell all of those things via your social media pages. You're a manufacturer. The first thing I'm going to ask you to do is create good images of your products that these retailers and groomers can use on their Facebook pages. Create video of how your products work so that you can send them to your community. You're a distributor, you need to showcase how easy it is for your retailers to upload catalogs, to upload products. Teach them how to do this. I know I've worked and spoken at a lot of distributor buying shows. This is what you need to do now. You need to have a session like this talking to them about how to do this. We need to be in this collectively. We need to be helping you retailers support your business and giving you the tools to do that. So understand, in my world, it's a concerted effort, all of us. You retailers, you are the front line. You are dealing with customers. A lot of us are supporting you. We all need to be together and make sure that we're on the same page. Just back it up. If retailers need good images that they can add to my Facebook site, then the rest of you, how do I get them good images? How do I make it easy for them to upload those images? How do I offer them help? How do I create a template shop of my products so they could just upload it quickly? Okay. Let's see what's next here. Now we're talking about Facebook. Again, Instagram is another tool, right? I want to make sure you understand from the perspective of marketing your business. And I have been gently urging some of you to come along and get on the social media bandwagon. Let me make sure you understand. So let's use the word 10 years. I've been talking about social media as it relates to retail businesses for 9 of those 10 years. And it was much cruder. And the first questions out were, what is a Facebook? I don't get this. What does it do? Why would anybody care? That was 9 years ago. I was just in Orlando, and this is not derogatory, but there's some people that still said, I don't use it, I don't care. And yet, if you asked a 20-year-old, 25-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old who's been using social media for 10 years, they're going to tell you, you should care because it's how I run my life. And if you want me, as in my dollars, you need to present your products, your services in a platform that I understand and that I want to use. It is absolutely, let me circle so you get this. I promise I won't stand on my soapbox too long. 20 years ago, you were in business. 15 years ago, you were in business. You spent money on newspaper advertising. You spent money on radio advertising because that's where your customers were. Today, they're on social media. I can't urge you anymore. The time is now here and quickly past. This is a bar for entry. And I promise you, there are resources out there, APA, PETA, Pet Store Pro included, myself. There's plenty of people who will help you get there. It's way past time. You have to. It's not just that it's a post once to twice a day. It's I need to be there. I need to sell via these tools because my customers are buying online. Okay, soapbox done. Thank you for indulging me. But we get it, right? We get how important that is. So Instagram shoppable posts, right? I showed you this a couple weeks ago, but I brought it back because a sheet company is using pets to sell their sheets on Instagram. I want pet retailers to use pets to sell products on Instagram. It makes perfect sense. We are the ones that have the cute subject matters. These sheets are pretty, but the dog's cuter. Everyone stops and oohs and ahs at your dog, cat, fish, reptile, right? How do we communicate to our customers via Instagram? Just like Facebook, you can set up an Instagram storefront, shoppable posts. Once you set up that Facebook shop, because Instagram's owned by Facebook, you can then go back and put the things that you're tagging on Instagram will lead you back to that, will lead your customers, I should say, back to that Facebook shop to buy. So you make a direct purchase, right? And all you really need to do is set up a PayPal account or some virtual way that customers can give credit card information so that they can buy the products from you, right? So how do I make sure that I continue to leverage my social media as a shopping tool, not just in the time of coronavirus, but in the time post-COVID, because my customers are now online. I don't know where you live, and I live in a condo, And when I go down to walk my dog, there are 50 packages a day that people are ordering online. People are buying goods online from pet stores, from big box stores, from small stores. They're buying goods and services, links to services, maybe tools that they need every day online. How does your pet business become part of that? Or frankly, a bigger part of that? So another Instagram shopping tool is link in bio. So not just setting up a shop. If you don't want to set up a shop, fine. You have a website you want to use, fine. You want to send everybody back to your Facebook page, fine. Link in bio can do that. Hashtag link in bio. So I'm not just saying to you that's a term, but if you write the hashtag in the copy of an Instagram post and it says hashtag link in bio, your reader, the person that's seeing your post, that you want to do something, as in call to action, buy this from me, from my store today, they understand that link in bio means they go to the biography that's attached to your page, and there they can find an appropriate link to buy that product directly. That is common speak. You may not understand it, but go to Instagram, in the search bar, type in hashtag link in bio, and you will see 100 million, 200 million posts that have that. Click on one and follow the thread to what I'm saying. There is also now an app called linkin.bio that will help you set this up. So there's two different ways to do it, but understand that link in bio means call to action to your customers to buy something. There is a link in the bio that they can use to make the purchase of what you're showing in your post. In the one I'm showing you here, they're selling glasses, right? Each of these frames, type on any image, they've loaded them all. So you can buy sunglasses in this one. What pet products can you sell this way? So sales and marketing is one obviously big area that you need to continue making improvements on as we move post-COVID. But now I want to ask a real tough question to all of you who maybe you weren't prepared, which is fine. Maybe some of you knew that you had some systems challenges and you were piecing it together and it was working, and maybe you said, okay, I'll just keep doing it this way, even though it's frustrating and it doesn't work for me. Maybe you don't have the money. Maybe I haven't created a plan to implement a new system. Maybe some of you ignored it. I'll pretend that didn't happen. But I don't mean ignored it. I'm sure you knew it existed. I'm sure you knew it was frustrating. It didn't work the way it was supposed to, but you tolerated it. COVID changed all that, because what happened? Your systems got pressed. Maybe, on the grocery store, maybe your store, maybe they came fast and furious. Maybe you had overages or underages. Maybe you were out of stock. And because you didn't have any models set up on your inventory system, or because it happened so fast, you didn't know how to catch up. Maybe your system was overwhelmed. Maybe your POS system couldn't handle what the crush came or how it looked to your customers. And that created chaos. And that was an even more stress on your system. Now is the time to understand what you can do, right, to ease the stress of that. So ask yourself, what are there processes that you can put in place operationally that would ease the stress? You'll do curbside delivery, right? Special shopping hours. All of these things can help ease the flow of customers into your store. We're going to get to delivery in a minute, but I'm talking about your overall system. So let's talk about your operations here. Where in your operational elements of the business can you improve your performance going forward? What gaps did this crisis show that now, as we move forward, you need to address? So the first gap is, how do I service my customers effectively, right? I only had a front door, that was my only option, and now the front door is opening less. Did you put in any of these places, special shopping hours for older customers, personal shopping via, video, FaceTime, whatever tools, WhatsApp, whatever tools you might have used that your customers really liked, that felt very personal, like you were walking them around the store? Reservation shopping. I have a couple of my stores who they have between 7 and 8 a.m. they do for reservations. And these are not just older people, these are people that are still, working. These are nurses that need stuff for their pets, healthcare workers. And so the owner is saying, I will come in at these earlier times to let you shop. And it makes it really effective. And their customers are extremely happy. So curbside delivery, free delivery, drive-through. One of my stores did drive-through. So customers never touched the goods, right? That's a critical piece of, maybe they're wrapped in a large plastic bag if it's a large bag of food. Maybe you wear gloves when you're picking and packing the order, and you show your customers how you're doing that, again, in a video. We have free delivery. Want to walk you through how we pick and pack your order that goes onto the van. We take a large bag. We take our gloves. We wear it. Our shelves have been cleaned once a week. Therefore, we are confident in the sanitary nature, I should say, of our products. And then we grab gloves, and then we pick them up, and then we take it out to the trunk of your car. So between the time the goods were sanitized, when they came in, when they sat on the shelf, when I pick and pack them, when I took them out to the car, they weren't touched by human hands. You can be assured that is what we will continue to do in this time. I appreciate it's a lot of work, but again, what worked? How did it ease the burden? How did it make your customers feel better, relieve their stress, knowing they could get products that were germ-free for their pets from your store? That is the communication that you need to put forth going forward. And again, I'm reminding you when I say continue what you started, I am sincerely hopeful that most of you have started some of these procedures across every category that I'm talking about. Maybe some of you were way ahead of the curve and are doing them all. Maybe some of you were shocked, shell-shocked, were blindsided. Maybe your towns asked you to close. Maybe you weren't an essential business and you're going to be able to open up in the near future. This is where you need to quickly decide how fast you want to move to what we're now knowing is our new normal world. Okay, the stress on your systems I brought out: empty shelves, chaos at the cash register, technology breaking down. Some of us knew this existed. Some of us knew these systems were fragile. And now we have to honestly admit and say we need to make it a higher priority. How can you add systems that will help two things? Now, I think you need to put them in separate charts. My internal process flow and my external connections with customers. Where did you have, and you must be honest with yourself, where did you have trouble over the last 30 to 45 days? Where was the bottleneck? Was it internally? Was it externally? And then what phase or what function didn't work? And therefore, how do I need to address it? You see the image here of a scanner and a mobile receipt, which for my curbside checkout is a really, easy thing to do. For my future state, where I have multiple checkouts around the store, another easy checkout. Where I have a pop-up shop at the dog park down the road, another way, another easy tool. Groomers, another easy tool, right? Okay. Do I need apps for, my business? What does my POS look like? Does it allow mobile capability? Can I take mobile payments from wherever? That is what my customers are telling me they want, and I have been resistant to that. Did I have chaos because my in-store communication was less than optimal? How about that? Instead of calling it chaotic, we'll call it less than optimal. Then maybe I need to look at time tracking, team management. Maybe I need to look at project management and say, hey, how are we getting stuff done? How do I communicate better internally with my team? Documents, hiring apps. At this point, I needed more stock workers. I didn't have them. Invoicing, payroll. Where were the chaos points? Where were the frustration points for you? And this is where I'm saying to you, how do I make that better going forward? I don't expect that you will all have tons of money. I get it. But, we're going to give you a resource tool. Maybe some of you have applied for some of these loans that would give you some temporary relief. Maybe your sales are close to flat for last year. We can certainly talk about where that would come from. How do we reallocate expenses? And that's another key piece. How do we reallocate your expenses? We're going to get to cash flow statements in a minute, because I think from a financial perspective, there's things that you could have done to be prepared a little bit better, and let's make sure that doesn't happen again. Did your inventory support your sales during COVID? I don't mean that you had, like I mentioned before, a rush on large bags of food. I don't think you could have prepared for that. Here's the question. Did you have the cash to replenish as quickly as you needed to? Were you left in a hole? You all know, and I am a huge, not just a marketing girl, but I love to talk about inventory, and we've talked inventory a lot of times together, right? How do you maximize your inventory in good times and in bad? How do you take the dollars that you spend, and instead of now saying, okay, Lynn, I know I've got those boxes of old goods, I've got, forget old food, I know you take care of that, but what are the products that aren't really selling that I just didn't deal with, I didn't take markdowns on, I didn't come up with a liquidation strategy? And if I had, I would have a more regular cash flow to then support the products that I needed now and maybe going forward that I need to reallocate. Now is the time. You want more cash in your business next month? Optimize your inventory performance starting today. Plans, models, by department. What do I need to buy? How much inventory do I need to have? Be vigilant about sticking to the plan. Okay. Again, a lot of soapboxes today, people. Sorry about that. But I really, if you've seen me, you know that I'm passionate about inventory. It drives your business. Maybe I don't mean to be funny. This is a pharmacy here, but I thought it was interesting that it said face mask available here, which got me thinking, is that going to be a new item in any of our stocks? Certainly, you don't need items for your pets, face masks for your pets, but as a customer service for your customers, could you have that item available for them? Quickly, this is an inventory planning seminar, but it should be. Again, how do you move going forward? The biggest way that you can generate cash is to improve the turn of your inventory, starting today, right? Create a sales and purchase plan by month, by department, right? You know what those things are. It's foods, it's dry food, it's wet food, it's cat food, it's treats, it's toys, it's supplements. I plan for a lot of pet businesses, and we could go through what those are. Call me after this session and I will help you define what those are and how to come up with a plan for that. But you should be managing your inventory now more than ever, because you're going to need cash to support the other phases. If you want to add systems, the best way to generate cash is to buy only what you need, drive the sales from that inventory, and don't overspend. Period. End of day. Inventory is your biggest performing asset or underperforming asset. What is on the shelves that is not selling? Let's deal with it now. Let's make your inventory work. Use the cash for other things, right? Track and monitor. You need to monitor sales. You need to monitor what you bought. You need to monitor stock levels so that you understand how to move your merchandise mix. Was dry dog food 20% of your inventory usually? Or I should say 25% of your sales, and all of a sudden in the month of March, now that you're saying, oh, let me look at this, it was 35% of your inventory sales. How do I adjust quickly? How do I take the brands that are selling? How do I get models in place? How do I talk to my suppliers about delivering me more consistently? You have the best opportunity of any retail brand and chain out there in that your distributors hold your inventory for you. You have to tell them what the right items are and they will get them to your door. Let's not overbuy now. Let's buy just what we need, and let's use the cash that we generate on the faster turn to improve the other performances of the business. Come up with forecasted sales models of the key products. Look at end of February, look at March sales, run your bestseller report. What sold more than had ever sold before? Is that going to be a temporary trend? Is that a new trend? Okay, now let me do a forecast. And again, I promise you, I will sit with you all. There's a slide at the end here. I'll give you performance. I'll give you my number because it's really critical. I'm asking you to reinvent your business. I want to give you the tools to do that. And we can start with inventory most effectively. The two things that I think will help you the most from a financial perspective, and again, some of you on this call are like, yeah, how do you not manage your business this way? Of course I look at this. So good for you. You already know what your story looks like on the finance side. Some of you are in the weeds, as we say, and you're just trying to do, and so you don't sit in that 30,000 foot level. You must now strategically plan for the rest of the year, for next year, and that means starting today, you need to create a purchase and, a profit and loss statement and run a cash flow statement that can help you determine where are my cost of goods, where are my expenses, and what does that look like. With our clients right now, even though we have, in my clients, I have other non-pet businesses and their business they're on the down 50. I have a lot of clothing retailers that we plan for. And so they're on the down 50. So that means we've taken a hit on the top line sales. Now we have to adjust expenses and purchases going forward so that we can modify the income, the profit at the end of the day. You need to create a plan, starting certainly now would be great. Maybe you have one. This P&L isn't just a tool, a piece of paper that you get from your accountants. You need to make it a live, breathing document. Take the 2019 P&L, look at the balance of the year, starting May, starting June, put a plan together, reflow sales, reflow expenses, so that you can look at what is going to happen, anticipate what is going to happen with your business. It is the most critical thing that you can do. You must know what's going in and coming out in order for you to make some of these changes that we're talking about that you need to make to modernize your approaches to meet customers where they are, to do business post-COVID and beyond. You might need to reallocate expenses, but you have to have a plan. You have to know what you spent last year. You have to know cash flow coming in. You have to know sales. And the way to do that is to develop this forecasting tool. And again, most of you have bookkeepers, but instead of it just being a document that's delivered at the end of the month, it needs to be a living, breathing document that's reviewed against plan every single month and then adjusted going forward. So that at the end of the day, if the sales don't happen the way they were supposed to, that doesn't necessarily mean that your expenses, your profit, I should say, is, impacted the same. If sales are down 10, that doesn't mean your profit has to be down 10. It means I shave purchases, I shave expenses so that I can keep my profit steady, at least as a percent of sales. So that's a profit and loss statement. The other way you're going to know that is with a cash flow statement. How much cash do you have on hand today and projected tomorrow, right? How do I look at that? What are my projected sales? What are my projected expenses? What do I need to pay? Again, a cash flow statement isn't just a document that gets looked at once in a while. It is a living, breathing document that says, here is the health and well-being of my business today. Here is what I have. Where do I need to adjust? And when the cash paid out is more than the cash receipts, obviously we recognize that's where, there have to be adjustments. And you can see the first line on the cash paid out are purchases, right? So that goes back to the inventory. How do I manage the inventory most effectively so that I have everything my customers need, and frankly, not a penny more, so that I don't have shelves and shelves and shelves of unsold merchandise? It's the simple formula, bottom line. Income minus cost equals profit. And please don't think I'm being disrespectful or pedantic here. I know you're busy. I know that you have a lot of hats that you wear. I'm trying to, in this summary version, tell you where to focus, where to ask yourself questions. Where was the bottleneck in my business? Was I completely blindsided and unprepared to be a leader? Okay, that's personal. How do I do a better job getting myself to sit at 30,000 feet to be the leader that my business needs, to allocate time for financial pieces, to allocate time for, my customers, to allocate time to strategically plan my marketing efforts. And then we're going to talk about my staff in a minute, to strategically plan how to drive my staff. I am very, very aware that what I just laid out to you in terms of processes and systems for your business to move forward, certainly on the social media marketing. I'm going to actually take a step back, not just social media, on the marketing side. Keep in mind, social media is a communication tool to your customers. You are marketing your business all the time. Social media is one communication tool. It is the most important one for many of you, and therefore that's why I call it marketing, call it social media. But in fact, keep in mind, it is a marketing tool. It is communicating a message. So you may not have staff. What does your team look like going forward? Who are my current people? Does my sales team need to have digital capability? Certainly my marketing digital capability, posting, I don't have an IT now. I don't have an IT team. I am the IT team. Maybe I don't have the skill set that I need to be good for my customers. How do I help make them better? Maybe I need to look at how do I implement technology differently? How do I allocate that role to someone? Maybe I have to do that part-time. How do I lead my store? What do I need to do to support my staff going forward about, and this is a tough one, on subjects I may not know about? For some of you, and I'm being really, kind of candid here with you, I know when I see you in person, many of you say to me, I don't want to deal with social media. That's not my thing. I appreciate that. However, your lack of interest in social media shouldn't be a detriment to your business. And it should be a source of pride that you have somebody that can manage and implement those programs with the messaging that you want to get delivered in a really creative way that you have on your staff. Please don't bemoan those people that have different skill sets than you, right? They don't own the business. They're not taking all the financial risk, but they can help you meet customers, which is really, really the critical piece here. And so you have to be honest with yourself and say, I need to let that go. Somebody's better at that than me. Your job as a good leader is to say, I'm bringing in somebody that's better than me to manage marketing, to help me with this marketing message delivery. I'm bringing in somebody better than me on the inventory side. I'm bringing in somebody who can manage my operations more effectively than me. I'm going to utilize my managers differently. And here's the point number 3 here. Should I use what I call gig economy? And if you've heard the term gig economy, freelancers for some of these roles. Maybe you don't need a full-time IT person. Maybe you don't need a full-time, buyer on your staff. Maybe you don't need a full-time marketing person. Though I would tell you your marketing person could also be a salesperson because they could sell for you online. But think about the fact that there's what they call these gig economy freelancers who an entire frame of business is people that work remotely, people that work by the hour, people that do project work. Perhaps you've hesitated, bringing those people into your team. They would be good supports. You don't need full-time right now. Until it gets up and running, you need to prove the concept, and therefore you could test it out. All right. So now let's talk about who you have. And I understand you all are trying to find that balance between keeping people employed and sort of, managing. But your team is critically important to your success. Therefore, you must spend the time assessing where they're good, where their deficiencies are, and then help train them as you move forward to be better. And that is not being mean. That's not being punitive. That's saying, hey, I need to change. Start with you. Team, we're going to have to be different in this post-COVID world. I am going to take on a different role. I'm going to try and spend more time at 30,000 feet because I need to make strategically sure that we're moving the business forward. Therefore, I'm going to need some of you to fill these roles. Some of you are going to need training to do that, and I'm going to give you that training. We are a team. We work together. We drive an end result, which is sales. Your job as the owner is to drive profit and to get these people to help you and support you as you do that. All right. I want to take a picture of this slide, download the handout. If you haven't applied for the loans, I know there's all kinds of talk state by state, what's working, what's not working, what do you need? It's a whole, maybe that's what you need a freelancer for right now. Help me navigate this business loan process. Help me understand where to get money. How can I best utilize the funds that are out there from a business interruption standpoint to drive more support for my business? So I just put some I'm not telling you that Forbes is a business source, but I thought it was interesting. It is a total summary by state, and I thought it was interesting because I knew there were lots of you on this call. The rest of them are obviously from the SBA and the Small Business Development Center and Retail Federation. So there's tools out there. So I leave you with this. Are you ready for the future? And it's not what you do today. You know, it's created by what you do today, I should say, and not what you do tomorrow. And I never do this, and I apologize now to the team here. I just want you to know I am in this for you. We are going to actually do this program through my pet retail business because I know your businesses. I want to help you through this. I'm going to, you know, help retailers. I'm going to just work with a small group of people and try and help them the best that I can with their tools and resources through all this. Where do I need to realign sales? Where do I need to realign inventory? Where do I need to realign marketing? So if you're interested, just send me a note, and that's it. I won't spend any more time. I want to make sure I reiterate to the team here, all of you on these calls, thank you for being with us. There are resources available. Please, here's the archived link to all of the great stuff that has happened already. Whew, I know that was, we got it in, but I don't know we have much time for questions. I'm really sorry about that. But I thought it was critical information. Chris, do we have any questions? Or do we have any time to get to them?
Questions. We have a couple of questions. I'm sure we could take a couple of minutes. So we'll start with this question here. How long should we keep this going? When is it safe to return to normal business practices? Are there any red flags that'll be up that'll let me know that things are going back to normal?
So I would go back to that first curve. I say this with all sincerity. I might have to go back and redo the presentation for this person. It is our new normal. And I don't want to say when will it go back to normal. If we could all start this new, and maybe you think it's, you know, cheesy and it's not the right expression, our new normal. But our new normal is a combination of forced new normal, how we're shopping differently, what we're going to do. And then the other thing is it's just going to amplify consumers' desire to shop differently. And I say this, and I've said it for the last 2 years, retailers, not just pet retailers, independent retailers are behind consumers. The problem is you guys want to keep it the same way, and your consumers are like, come with us, come with us. We want to shop online. We want to have an app. We want to talk to you via text message. We love WhatsApp. We love videos. You know, play with us on social media more often. Communicate with us there. Run contests for us. You know, I don't want to be in your store. I like your store, but I don't have time. So make it more convenient to shop with me. So hopefully you can understand our new normal is about new business practices, which streamline the process for you internally and externally deliver a robust customer service experience for your customer. Okay.
That's great. We'll do one more question before we have everybody sign off. When you were speaking about videos, what kind of topics should we be talking about in these videos? What's the right balance between trying to sell and push my products to turn over revenue and also providing a sense of comfort within my community?
Awesome. Typically, my formula, if you've heard me speak about it, 40, 30, 30. You should start with 40% personal, like that's comfort, that's care, that's, you know, I'm thinking about you, we're worried about your families, please, what can we do for you? If you know dogs and cats that are, you know, undernourished, that are coming to your door looking for food, please contact us. We have a pet cares program where we've got food that we can donate to them. So you become a source of, you know, kind of help and comfort and inspiration. Inspirational quotes, trying to relieve their stress. Here is a moment of Zen, right? You can call it a moment of pet per day, not a moment of Zen. So that's the first 40%. It may ratchet up now to 50, but that gets them understanding that you're one of them. You're having the same troubles. You know, I'm sharing with my, you know, clients, it's hard working in a 600 square foot house with your husband. So my dog is exhausted because he's getting walked all the time. So that's a funny anecdote you could share. What's going on in your house? Homeschooling, owner of a business. Then you get to, let me help you with your pets. Here's the resources out there. Your pets are safe. Your food is safe in my store. This is what we're doing to help you. We're keeping you abreast of many recalls or things like that. That's 40% or 30%, sorry, of information. So the information might look different. It might be more about COVID, might be more about town and local, but it's still not selling. Then the 30, the last 30 is, okay, now that you see that I'm one of you, that I trust you, that I'm caring about you, that I'm worried about you, and that here's really good information about your pets and about food and helping you with how to get information around your town. Now, by the way, here is some food that we find. And by the way, we've added, here's a perfect example. We talked about food. This is a food that we sell. Maybe it's on sale. Maybe we work with our distributor. Maybe we are now supplying a size that we didn't normally have because we know you're stocking up. So yes, I'm selling, but I'm actually being helpful while I'm selling. So personal first, information, then selling. And I have another great suggestion. If you're not positive that that formula works for you, put out a post today that says, we want to be helpful, the most helpful we can during this time. What do you want to see here from us? If your customers say, show me funny videos, give me those great sales of the day, they give you permission to sell. So if you're not sure, ask them, let them give you permission to just be your normal self in all of this. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Chris, if there are other questions, can I just say to everybody on the call, I will make sure that I answer all your questions offline and get them back to you as well. Okay?
Thanks, Lynn. It's Celeste. I'll jump in. Thanks, everyone, going a few extra minutes with us. Again, Lynn, thank you so much on behalf of PIDA and APPA for your partnership and all you did to quickly put these wonderful webinars together and give so much information for the pet stores to be able to navigate these challenging times. So we greatly appreciate it. And as Lynn said, again, on your slide, you'll see there where you can see all of these webinars. And as I mentioned earlier, you also can go to PIDA.org and AmericanPetProducts.org for a ton of information, COVID related with the loans and et cetera. So thank you all for being on this webinar. And Lynn, thank you for a great series. And we wish all of you continued success and good health.
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Lynn.